History of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth has been portrayed as a creature which could develop, yet couldn't have been built from a plan. This recognizes it from the United Nations, worked around its contract in the cognizant undertaking to set up generally perceived principles for global direct. In contrast to other worldwide authority associations, the personality of the Commonwealth is less particularly that of a coalition or authoritative plan than it is a family. Numerous Commonwealth presidents and PMs, and its head, Queen Elizabeth II, have cause to notice this sensation of family. Like a family, the Commonwealth exists since its individuals feel they have a characteristic association of long standing. Its work for improvement has been conceivable on the grounds that the Commonwealth Association was at that point there. Individuals consider that to be as normal since they have a common past, a typical language and, notwithstanding their disparities, an upgraded ability to trust each other. They have utilized this connect to reinforce each other's turn of events, and to work in association to progress worldwide understanding over urgent issues like exchange, obligation, sex fairness, the climate, the danger of psychological oppression and the global monetary framework. A result of history and premonition. The Commonwealth of today was in no way, shape or form an inescapable turn of events. It happened through the incredible bonds which created among pioneers and individuals, prominently during the decolonizing system and in the early long stretches of the Commonwealth's advancement as a relationship of sovereign states. The results of changes drove by Jawaharlal Nehru and Kwame Nkrumah are most popular, however there are a few such defining moments. Domain status. In the mid-19th century, British supreme strategy started to relax under tension for more noteworthy self-assurance, at first principally from the British plummeted populaces of the most progressive provinces. Canada was first to acquire self-government during the 1840s and furthermore the first to turn into a territory 1867. Domain status, which permitted self-government and broad freedom in international concerns, essentially changed the connection among settlement and supreme force. It was maybe in this solve that British lawmaker Lord Rosebery, visiting Adelaide in Australia in 1884, called the Domain a Commonwealth of countries. Australia accomplished territory status when its states joined as the Commonwealth of Australia in 1901. New Zealand continued in 1907, South Africa in 1910, and the Irish Free State in 1921. The 5 territories and India had their own portrayal in the League of Nations, the harbinger of the UN. Extraordinary Britain and the Territories were described in the Balfour Report of 1926 as independent networks inside the British Empire, equivalent in status, not the slightest bit subordinate to each other in any part of their homegrown or outside issues, however joined by a typical loyalty to the Statute of Westminster, passed by the UK Parliament in 1931, gave lawful acknowledgement to the true autonomy of the territories. The Parliaments of Canada, South Africa and the Irish Free State quickly passed enactment authorising the resolution. Australia embraced it in 1942 and New Zealand in 1947. Newfoundland surrendered its territory status and was fused into Canada in 1949. Conservative membership. Simultaneously, the battle for self-government in India then, at that point, additionally including Bangladesh and Pakistan, was developing. India and Pakistan accomplished autonomy, as territories and individuals from the Commonwealth, in 1947, and Sri Lanka continued in 1948. These occasions denoted a shift in course for the Commonwealth, as these were the principal nations where the strain for freedom came from the native populaces instead of networks plummeted primarily from British pilgrims. This laid the basis for the advancement of a multiracial Commonwealth. Then, at that point, the Commonwealth confronted a sacred emergency. It was expected that the affiliation's chief bond would be that all individuals would have the ruler of the United Kingdom as head of state. India's constituent gathering chose to embrace a conservative type of government, yet wished to stay inside the Commonwealth. At the Commonwealth Prime Ministers' meeting of 1949, it was concurred that India may stay apart as a republic yet tolerating the ruler as the image of the free relationship of autonomous part countries and as such head of the Commonwealth. This improvement opened the way for different nations which took on conservative constitutions or had a public ruler to become Commonwealth individuals. Toward the beginning of 2006, 37 of the 53 individuals didn't have Queen Elizabeth II as nominal leader of state, however completely acknowledged her as head of the Commonwealth. The Queen is likewise head of state in 16 Commonwealth nations, every one of them completely free. She is top of every one of these states exclusively. Unavoidable trend. The Gold Coast, in West Africa, became autonomous as the Republic of Ghana and joined the Commonwealth in 1957, the main Greater Part-controlled African nation to join. This denoted the beginning of another turn of events, what UK Prime Minister Harold Macmillan called the undeniable trend moving throughout Africa. Throughout the following 20 years, the UK's standard finished in many pieces of Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, the Mediterranean and the Pacific. District enrollment extended quickly. Malaya, later consolidated into Malaysia, likewise accomplished freedom in 1957, trailed by Nigeria and Cyprus 1960, Sierra Leone and Tanzania 1961, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Uganda 1962, etc. By far most of nations coming to freedom decided to join the Commonwealth. With South Africa's readmission after the appointment of 1994, participation rose to 51 nations. Cameroon, free beginning around 1960, participated in October 1995 and Mozambique, which had since a long time ago communicated a craving to join the affiliation and had been associated with it all through the long Southern African battle for racial uniformity, was conceded to enrollment in November. A couple of nations didn't join. Myanmar, then, at that point, Burma, free 1947, decided not to join, and Ireland pulled out in 1949. Various for the most part Middle Eastern nations, previous UK conditions, commands, protectorates or insured states, chose not to join the Commonwealth on freedom. Maldives became free in 1965 yet didn't join the relationship until 1982. Samoa, some time ago an UN trust territory regulated by New Zealand, became autonomous in 1962, yet didn't join until 1970. 3 nations left the Commonwealth and afterward rejoined. Pakistan left in 1972, after different individuals perceived the new province of Bangladesh beforehand a piece of Pakistan, yet was invited once again into the relationship in 1989 when the justly chosen government applied to rejoin. South Africa's participation slipped by in 1961. Having turned into a republic, it was needed to make a conventional reapplication for participation. The Commonwealth's protection from the politically sanctioned racial segregation strategies of the public authority of the time clarified that this would not be allowed, thus South Africa pulled out. Fiji Islands stopped to be a part in 1987, following a tactical overthrow and the assertion of a republic. Fiji Islands permitted its enrollment to pass when it too got little consolation from different individuals to reapply. After 10 years and subsequent to setting out on a course of protected change, the country by and by turned into a part in October 1997. Nigeria, an individual from the Commonwealth since freedom in 1960 and a functioning member in numerous significant drives. was suspended from enrollment in November 1995 when heads of government chose it had abused the standards of the 1991 Harare Declaration. The suspension was at first for quite some time. The Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group observed improvements in Nigeria and the Gambia and Sierra Leone from 1995. In mid-1998, with the increase of another head of state, Nigeria left on a progress program towards a regular citizen majority rule government. In the wake of finishing its discretionary schedule in mid-1999, its suspension from the Commonwealth was lifted with the swearing-in on 29 May 1999 of an equitably chosen regular citizen president. 3 individuals, Fiji Islands, Pakistan and Zimbabwe, have each lately been suspended from the gatherings of the affiliation, forthcoming rebuilding a vote-based system as per the constitution. Thanks for watching. Bye now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Life is Often if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.